Welcome back to graveyarddance.com on this cold, dark, chilly morning in October. The leaves are all falling and the nights are getting colder and Halloween is just around the corner, so we decided to bring you something a bit darker than what we have been doing for a while. Before we get there though, we have to mention that one way to stay warmer during this cold time of year is getting a pet and cuddling up to it. Head on over to eyesofadog.com, find your nearest adoption center in your area and check out what they have to offer. Want a dog? They got them. You want a kitty? There's plenty of those to go around too. There are so many out there that need a loving home, just like yours, so what are you waiting for? If you're not ready to adopt, hey, it's all good. Tell people you know though by talking to them about eyesofadog.com. It's free to use and it's for a great cause. Grab a cup of hot cocoa, find your favorite Snuggie partner, and enjoy the following story. In 2004, the gruesome murders committed by the beasts of Satan seized the attention of the Italian media. While the satanic panic had waned in the United States by the late 1980s and 1990s, it was simultaneously gaining momentum in Italy. Much of this panic revolved around fears of pedophilia, with many claims being easily dismissed. However, a much darker and all-too-real phenomenon was taking root in and around Milan, largely unnoticed, until it could no longer be ignored. The arrest of Andrea Volpe in 2004 for the murder of his ex-girlfriend marked the beginning of this shocking revelation. During his interrogation, Volpe confessed to 2 additional murders that had occurred 6 years earlier. These were not ordinary killings. In 1998, Volpe, along with a cult known as the Beasts of Satan, brutally murdered 2 teenagers, Fabio Tallis and Chiara Marino, in a horrific drug-fueled ritual sacrifice. The fear of otherworldly evil became so pervasive in Italy that by 2006, the Italian police had established a specialized unit known as the Satan Squad to investigate what they perceived as a growing threat of Satanism. Today, the Beasts of Satan are suspected of being involved in as many as 14 other deaths. The Beasts of Satan have been labeled in various ways: a band, a collective, a cult. While many members were musicians, not all of them were. What bonded them was a shared obsession with sex, drugs, heavy metal, and death. They would gather at night in the Midnight Pub in Milan, the heart of the city's heavy metal scene. The first murders took place on January 17, 1998. On that night, 16-year-old Fabio Tallis, a bassist in a band associated with the Beasts of Satan, and his 19-year-old girlfriend, Chiara Marino, visited the Midnight Pub to watch a show and meet up with other members of the cult. They were never seen alive again. At some point during the night, Andrea Volpe, the de facto leader of the cult, succeeded in coaxing them out of the pub. He, along with other cult members, drove them away from Milan and into the remote woods near Somma Lombardo, approximately 30 miles northwest of the city. Once there, the group formed a circle, drinking and indulging in more drugs. Then, Volpe and at least 7 accomplices announced that Chiara Marino was to be sacrificed. According to one member, Volpe viewed Fabio Tallis as a threat to his authority and intended to teach him a lesson. Others claim that Marino was targeted because she resembled the Virgin Mary. When Tallis attempted to protect her, both were brutally killed. Marino was stabbed through the chest, the knife piercing her heart, while Tallis was savagely beaten to death with a hammer. In one chilling account, after the murders, Sapone ritualistically stuffed chestnut leaves down their throats, dipped a cigarette in their blood, and smoked it, declaring, "Now you're both zombies. Try and get out of this hole if you dare." Their bodies were then discarded into a pit, still clothed, and remained there for 6 years while Italian investigators dismissed their disappearance as a case of 2 lovers running away together. However, Michele Tallis, Fabio's father, never accepted this explanation and spent the next half-decade searching across the continent for his missing son. For over 6 years, Michele Tallis and Lisa Marino, Chiara's mother, tirelessly urged authorities to investigate their children's murders, but their efforts were repeatedly ignored. In an interview with an Italian blogger, Michel recounted how he took it upon himself to search for his son when authorities refused to heed his pleas. "I began to get involved in the heavy metal nightlife," he shared. "There I met musicians, just fans. But they would turn out to be the same guys who, years later, were revealed as my son's killers. Some rumors circulated about the presence of a satanic sect, but I didn't take those rumors seriously." Michel also described how he would distribute leaflets in all the fanzines, hoping someone might help him locate his son's body. He even started attending heavy metal festivals, forging connections with people who knew Fabio and Chiara, and meticulously documenting every relationship he uncovered. By 2004, Michel Tallis had become so deeply ingrained in the heavy metal scene of northern Italy that he knew nearly everyone who had ever crossed paths with his son. Yet, it would still take years before the full truth emerged. On January 24, 2004, Andrea Volpe and his 18-year-old girlfriend, Elisabetta Ballerin, committed another horrific murder. This time, their victim was 27-year-old Mariangela Pezzata, Volpe's former girlfriend. Pezzata's body was discovered in Galliseca, a small town close to Somma Lombardo. Volpe later confessed to shooting Pezzata in the throat, but admitted he called his friend, Nicola Sapone, when she didn't immediately die. Together, they dragged Pezzata to a greenhouse at Ballerin's parents' house, where Sapone struck her with a spade before burying her alive. Investigators believe that Volpe targeted Pezzata because she intended to report the murders of Fabio Tallis and Chiara Marino to the authorities. When news broke that Andrea Volpe had been arrested for Pezzata's murder that summer, Michel Tallis recognized the name instantly. He rushed to the Carabinieri, Italy's national police, and presented the findings of his years-long investigation. He had conducted a thorough investigation into the disappearance of his son and his son's girlfriend, entirely on his own, investigator Tenient Enzo Molinari told the BBC. He supported his claims with a compelling collection of documents and photographs that he had compiled over the past 6 years. Faced with the information Tallis had gathered, Volpe cracked under questioning. In hopes of receiving a lighter sentence, he led investigators to the bodies of Marino and Tallis. Volpe and his accomplices were subsequently tried in the town of Busto Arsizio, in the Lombardy district of northern Italy. The convictions were swift and severe. Volpe received a 30-year prison sentence, 10 years more than the prosecution initially requested. Sapone, whom police believed was the mastermind behind the killings of Tallis and Marino, was sentenced to life in prison. For other accomplices, including Ballerin, received prison sentences ranging from 24 to 26 years. Upon Volpe's sentencing, Lisa Marino expressed her deep frustration with the Italian authorities for ignoring her desperate pleas for help. "We've finally achieved justice for Chiara. Now Volpe will have to spend 30 years in prison," she stated. "But if people had listened to me 7 years ago, Mariangela would still be alive." Although the beasts of Satan, particularly Volpe, never denied their heinous crimes, the true motives behind the murders have always been a matter of debate. Investigators and the Italian media were quick to attribute the murders to Satanism, but the reality appears to be more complex. Andrea Volpe was a troubled young man consumed by a desire to kill anyone he believed had wronged him. Drugs also played a significant role in Volpe's mindset and likely fueled his homicidal actions. In 2004, Mario Maccian accused the cult of being linked to as many as 14 mysterious deaths in northern Italy, including several suspicious suicides of individuals either involved with or connected to the beasts of Satan. However, to this day, Italian police have yet to substantiate these claims, and no concrete evidence has been found to prove the cult's involvement in these additional deaths. Elisabetta Ballerin was released from prison in 2017, and Andrea Volpe followed in April 2020. Francesca Kramis, the lawyer representing one of the Beasts of Satan members, argued that her client's obsession with death metal contributed to the tragedy and suggested that what began as a game spiraled into something far more sinister. "They listened to death metal," she explained before the trial. "These are young men with serious problems who convinced themselves they had the power to kill others. What started as a game ended in tragedy. We hope you found today's content engaging, even if it was a bit unsettling. What are your thoughts? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future content. If you're really enjoying what we do, consider hitting the notification bell and sharing our content with your friends. We always welcome new followers and friends of the channel. Until next time, thank you all so much for watching. We truly appreciate every one of you.